Thank you for joining us today for the Mifos X accounting module hands-on demonstration. Today we're working with Mifos X version 15.03. As you're going through the demonstration, don't worry about making a lot of various notes because we do have our user manual available to you on our wiki pages at this link. And when you get into the wiki, you'll see a link at the upper left corner. Today, we're going to be working in this area for the accounting. If you don't find the questions you have answers in the user manual, we do have a number of ways for you to get support. One of these is through the Answer Hub, available at this link here. What you can do is type in your topic, your question, anything you want. You can read what others have asked, what others have been answered. If you still don't see what your specific question is, simply type it in, click on Ask a Question. If you want to provide additional details, that would be helpful, and someone in the community will get back to you in a remarkably quick time frame. It's nice. And now I'm going to hand the controls over to Sangamesh, who will be walking us through the accounting module in Mifos X. Sangamesh, take it away. Thanks.
You guys able to see my screen?
Yes,
Hello?
I can see it beautifully. Thank you. Yes.
All right. Should I be starting now? Okay, great. See, I'm on the accounting slide. I would start with the standard financial account principles. Real accounts, which is related to assets and liabilities. Debit is what comes in, credit is what goes out. And for the personal accounts, related to people or legal entities, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Nominal accounts related to profits, losses, incomes and expenses, debit all the expenses and losses, credit is the giver. So here is an example for the entry. A business standard with 300,000 has 300,000 lakhs has a capital in bank account, which is an debit, which is an asset account, gets debited, and capital account, which is an liability account, gets credited. Dana, are you able to follow me? Are you able to see my screen and follow me, right?
Yeah, I'll see your screen, no problem.
Okay, great. Thanks. I'm just checking in. And your examples follow here. So 10 lakh cash withdrawn from bank, cash account, which is an asset account, is getting debited, and bank account, which is an asset account again, is getting credited. So one more example, I would use the salaries paid by bank transfer, which is 50,000. Salaries and wages, which is an expense account, gets debited, and the bank account, which is an asset account, gets credited. So let me move to the Mifos page, and I am on the accounting module. Let me switch, sorry. Yeah, so let me, I'm on the Mifos dashboard page now. let me click on the accounting section, and in either to start enable accounting module for Mifos, we need to start with the creating chart of accounts. So the chart of accounts, let me click on the chart of accounts, and I need to create a list of accounts in order to use these accounts for later doing the later accounting entries. I'll click on the add account button, then create a few accounts. Let me open the slide and take these examples. Sorry. Yeah. So I would use the salary and wages as an example. Let me create a salary and wages, which is an expense account. So the account type I need to select is expense here, and provide the GL code. GL code is a general ledger code which can be categorized using the account types depending upon the organization needs. Let me say this expense account general code has a 10,000, and account usage, when we select the account usage has detail, so this account can be used while creating the doing the entries. If we select the header, we won't be able to use this this account for doing any entries. So basically the detail account would be the account which would be used at the time of doing the accounting entries. In case if we want to give the header, for example, all office expenses, I would say this has a office expense, and yeah, the account name I'm giving it as a office expense. Parent wouldn't be available since this is the first account which we are creating, and this is the header account. Now the manual entries alone, if we uncheck this box, you won't be able to use this account for doing the manual entries. And in the description, you could give the account details. Let me click on submit button. Now the office expense account has been created. We could create a sub-ledger account which could be a sub-account for this header account. If I click on the sub-ledger account, I would be able to provide the GL code. Let me give it as a 10,001. Then account usage detail. Then provide the name, salaries and wages. Then click on submit. So if I go back to the chart of account, then if I click on the tree view, you could see in this in the expense category, you could see the office expense is a head account. Below that is a sub account which is a salaries and wages. So these salaries and wages can be used for doing the accounting entries. Let me create one more account. Let me go back to the chart of accounts and click on add account. Let me use the same example which is shown in the slide. I will create a bank account, and which is an asset account. So I'll leave it with the asset. I will provide the GL code as 20,000, and the account name I would give it as a cash, and account usage I will use the cash account directly instead of creating it as a header and creating a sub account. So let me click on submit. Now if I go back to the chart of accounts and click on the tree view, you could see the asset account in the asset account category, the cash account has been created, and in the same way for expense, office expense under that salaries and wages has been created. Now once this chart of accounts are created, we could use these accounts for doing the entry. That is a manual entry which could be done using the add journal entries here. So if I click on the add journal entry, it would give the selection of which account should be debited and which account should be credited. And in the first we have is a selection of office for which this entry is going to happen. So let me select the office as head office itself, and use the same example. Salaries and wages, which is getting debited with the 50,000 and credited with the salaries and wages. I would select salaries and wages, and credit I would use cash. So here I could provide the amount 50,000 and again 50,000, and here is a selection of currency. If you have other currency, you could also select your required currency, and then you could provide the reference number, let's say 1XYZ, something like this, and we could provide the transaction date has on which this transaction is going to happen. So I would provide has on today's date, and we could also capture the additional details like the additional payment details. The payment type, we could select the payment type if there is a cash or the whether it's through the check, whether it's through the wire transfer, and we could also provide the check number, the receipt number. If in case it's a account transfer, then we could provide the account number and the routing code and the bank details. And in the comments, we could provide the comments for this transaction. So once these selection is done, we could click on submit and the entry would happen. And this is the entry. If I go back to the accounting, click on the accounting, then click on the search journal entry, and without any filter, I would directly click on the search button here, and it would give the transaction happened details here. So you could see the transaction happened with the, it provides the transaction number. This is the auto-generated number. And in case if you if you want to reverse this account entry, you could click on the reverse button and provide the comments and click on the reverse. So it would say transaction was reversed successfully. A new journal entry has been created to reverse this transaction. So if I click on redirect new transaction, it would show the details. Okay, and you could see here the first entry was made and it has been reversed. Now if I click back to the accounting, uh, let me move on to the product section, wherein we could use these accounts for mapping the products. In either to enable accounting, we need to map the accounts for the products. So I'm using other Mifos, wherein I have already created set of accounts here. You could see here. Let me go to the admin, products, loan product, create loan product. If I scroll to the bottom, you could see the accounting section here. So we could enable the accounting for cash or for the accrual. And for accrual, we have split it into periodic and upfront. So let me select cash for now and scroll, and we have categorized the section that is asset, income, expense, liabilities. And in the funds, let me start with the first account, fund source. If you hover on the question mark, it would give the details. It's an asset account, typically bank or cash, that is debited during repayments or payments and credited using the disbursal. So if I click on the selection, drop-down selection, it will provide me all the accounts which are asset account, which is a detail account. So from here I could select the account. So for fund source, I could use bank account or the cash. And for loan portfolio, I could use the loan to customers. And for transfer in suspense, I could use loan transfer in suspense here. Income from interest, I could use interest received from borrowers. Then income from fees, I could interest received from borrowers. Income from penalties, I could use penalties. So income from recovery repayments, I could use other operating income. Losses written off, which is an expense, I would select losses written off here. And overpayment, I haven't created a account for that, so we could use that account here. And once these selection for the accounts is done, we need to click on the submit button. Let me click on cancel now, since I have already live example wherein I could show you the, here is an example for which accounts are already mapped to the loan product. So once this is mapped to the loan product or the saving product, whenever there is transaction, whether it may be a loan disbursement or whether it may be a repayment, the accounting entries will happen automatically using those mapped accounts. And how the accounting entries will happen is listed here. Let me, sorry. Yeah, let me quickly search for that. So you could also directly search for the link, and you could check the posting rules. Let me click on that, and we have already documented for all the possible accounting entries and for the other functional and features. So let me quickly move to the down. Yeah, it's here. So you could see, yeah, you could see here accounting rules for loans, and we have given a cash-based accounting scenario here, and this is the posting rules. So when in the event of disbursal, the loan portfolio will get debited and the cash gets credited. The same way, when the principal repayment happens, the cash gets debited and the loan portfolio gets credited. In the same way, we have given the set of accounting rules, posting rules, which are listed here. And this is a scenario for accrual based accounting, and below is the posting rules here. So you could always use this document for checking the accounting entries or the posting rules. And we have given the examples for this flat interest type and for the declining interest type as well. So let me go back to the Mifos page, and next we have is a accounting rules, wherein you could create a rule. This would be very useful for who is making an entry, and in case if they don't know the accounting rules, you could set a rule for them, saying like salary payment or salary entry, you could say that, and select the office. This is a one-time setup, and here is a list of accounts wherein you could set the rule. So for that example, yeah, salary and wages should be debited. So let me select salary and wages, and cash should be credited. So now if I click on the submit button and go back to the accounting, and here we have is a frequent posting. If I click on frequent posting, I could select the rule here. If I select the salary entry, then automatically it would give the what should be debited and what should be credited. And I would make an entry just by providing the amount here and the date as on which this entry should happen. That would be 25th, and click on submit. That's it. So just I had selected the office, then provided the amount, then submitted it. So if I go back to the search journal entry and click on the search button here, you could see the new entry happened here. Yep. Now, yeah, here is a chart of account list, which is already available in the a possible accounting spec for Mifos document, and here is a cash-based accounting and accrual-based accounting difference. So for cash-based accounting, income is accounted only when cash is actually received for this income. So expense is accounted only when cash is actually paid for this expense. For example, a member joins on 5th January but pays membership fee only on 12th January. The membership fee is accounted only on 12th January as on the payment date. But in accrual accounting, income is accounted when sale occurs or services are rendered. Expense is accounted when goods or service is received. In the same example, member joins on 5th January here but pays membership fee only on 12th January. The membership fee is accounted on 5th January. Although the fee is fee should be collected on 12th January, it's accounted on 5th January. Now, yeah, this is a add accounting rule which I had explained you. Okay. And yeah, frequent postings. We have a accounting closure wherein you could close the account for and say it as a day end. And if you try to make an entry after the accounting closure, you won't be able to do any transaction. Let me switch to the Mifos page. Go to the accounting section. Then click on closing entries and click on create closure. So I'll select the office as head office, closing date as on today, and click on submit. Okay. Now I'll go back to the accounting and do an entry. So let me click on frequent postings and select the rule as salary entry and do the entry 5,000 and provide the date as on today. And if I click on submit here, entry we won't be able to make an entry. So the error is accounting has been closed for this branch as of this date. So if I try to make an entry earlier than this date, it would still won't be able to do the entry because we have given the accounting closing entries. So let me click on cancel button and go back to the closing entries. In case if you want to make any entry, you could click on view accounting closure and delete, confirm. Then if you go back and do the entry, you would be able to make the entry. And using the roles and permission, you could restrict the access using restrict the access for closing entries. So I code a chart of accounts, add journal entries, which is a manual entry, and search journal entry is for searching the entries happened. If I go back to the accounting search journal entry, you could also filter this search and get the required entries. You could also search by a date range, or you could also search by the transaction ID. Let me go back to the accounting section. And next was the closing entries, which is a day-end closing entry. Next is accounting rules. And then, yeah, in either to start doing the entries, and in case if you want to do the opening balance, that would be here. So it says financial activity account needed for this operation has not been defined. So you need to go back to the accounting here, then click on accounts linked to financial activities, and you need to define and map, that is for opening balance, transfer contra, and select the account. So this account can be a equity account, and you could say that has a opening balance contra account. And once you submit this one, you would be able to do the migrate opening balance. Let me click on this one, accounting migrate opening balance, and that would be like this. You're selecting of the office, currency, then search data. So again, for this account, accounting is not yet enabled. Let me define and map this account, opening balance contra account. Again, yeah. So once this is defined, you would be able to create or do the migrate opening balance. So yeah, is there any doubts regarding these features and functionalities regarding the accounting module? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, we're here. We're here.
Yeah, great. So, do you have any doubts?
No.
No, I thank you very much, Sangamesh, for that very thorough introduction to our accounting module. And if there are no questions, we could probably move on. Mike and Mr. Vunga, do you have anything you'd like to share with the community? It sounds like...
The process is something we...
Thank you so very much, Sangamesh. That was quite detailed. I do appreciate it. Again, for our viewers, if you have questions, utilize the Answer Hub. Look up at what other people have asked and ask your own questions. If you want to just play with the system, go into the demo server and bang around on it. It's there, it's messy, but it's there for you to mess around with. If you've not signed up for a user list yet, please do so. And the chat support is available on Gitter. Of course, our website is available, and our general email is available at info@mifos.org. I hope that you find this has been a very helpful presentation for you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.